Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to game number 2 of this best of 2 series between Keen Gaming and Team Aster. It is, of course, MLPDota joining you, joined by the lovely johnxfire. John, game number 1, 17 minutes and it ended. I hope this one lasts a bit longer, but what do you think Keen Gaming need to do a bit differently this time around?
Yeah, I feel like if Keen has to do something, if they if they have something to do differently, maybe if they're gonna run the same draft, don't experiment too much when you have multiple experiments in one draft. It looks like, well, Mike, I'm not sure if we're gonna be seeing a replay of game one because
Perhaps we
it's
are.
looking like it, Mike.
Yeah. Sure does. The Brewmaster came out, although this time around they go a Bat Rider, John. We don't see this hero very often anymore.
You know why it came out, Mike? Because of
Why?
the Brewmaster. Because that's a fire element hero, right? So maybe we're gonna see that maximization of that cider brew now. I feel like it's very strong with something like a bat, just constantly refreshing that with, with the napalm stacks as well. It's gonna be pretty potent coming out from Keen Gaming. I'm curious to see if they still run this as a position 4 Brewmaster. I think it's very likely we will see that as the pos 4 once again, along with a Bat Rider in the off lane. I think as a dual lane, that's pretty strong. Team Aster is just, they're running what they just ran in the last game. It worked out for them, and I can't blame them for just going back to it, Mike.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this Bat Rider Brewmaster combo goes, which I feel like is the talking point here. I mean, I understand this fire element with the Cypher Brew, but I don't know. I just don't know. How long is it going to take for us as well to see like the other elements come in? I wonder. Like in the next patch, are we going to see the water element come in and suddenly Morphling becomes good again? Is that what's going to happen? Are we Pokemon now? Is that what it is? Like, is there going to be a new hero called Pikachu?
Hey, Mike, we're not Pokemon. We're slowly going to be a card.
Ah, that's right. We are becoming Artifact, aren't we? That's right.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're waiting for these bans to come out. Of course, we did see the Lifesteal ban coming out from the side of Keen Gaming, which is rather interesting. We haven't seen that hero being picked at all. And for that matter, we haven't seen it banned at all, but I'm sure they've done that for the carry they plan to pick up, or maybe even some of the cores. We'll find out very, very soon. Though Keen Gaming do seem fairly positive in continuing to run this Brewmaster in the position 4 role rather than putting it in the offlane where it generally belongs.
10 seconds remain. Dire team ban.
I feel like there was a period of time where we used to see a few teams do that position 4 brew. There were a couple moments before. And I think, again, hopefully they play around the synergy of Brewmaster and Bat Rider this time. Last game they had a Brewmaster Phoenix, which could have potentially come out. It's just they didn't run it, which was really curious to me. I'm not sure about that one. I feel like you want to try this this combination because it is potentially very strong. Again, with that cider brew, I can't keep restating. Just having that keep refreshing, having the enemies, accidentally confused and attacking themselves is potentially quite strong. And, the burn damage is pretty good as well. So I feel like the dual lane of Brewmaster and Bat would be great, unless they're both being run as supports and we're going to see a weird core again come out for Keen. I feel like they're really just experimenting this game, Mike.
I do like experimentation. It does make for very entertaining games at the very least. So I don't mind. Whatever Keen Gaming wants to do, they can do it. It's the more experimentation, the better for us, I feel. Nevertheless, Team Aster, they are certainly not playing around whatsoever. Definitely looking to 2-0 this series if they can get away with it. This third pickup, however, appears to be taking quite a bit of time for them. They've only have 35 seconds of reserve time left. At the 30-second mark, they do go for the Venge. Another hero, John, we haven't seen whatsoever during this new patch. And in fact, it just hasn't been spoken about yet at all. But I guess against the Bat Rider, it makes perfect sense. You want to swap out of the lasso. I suppose that's probably the only purpose to it.
Yeah, I was going to say they needed the hero that could probably break the Bat Rider's lasso. Venge is one of they had a couple of other options as well. The Oracle could have come out, something odd like that, but I feel like the Vengeful
I could feel.
With the
I could.
reworks,
I can hear how angry you're getting because of that sound, John. I can hear it. For anyone that is wondering what that sound is, apparently there's some unknown construction going on underneath John right now that he actually has no control over. So he can't really help it. He didn't know it was coming. Excuse the sound. He's trying to avoid it the best he can. It may mean, however, that I may have to interrupt him sometimes to avoid having to hear that and to avoid having you guys hear that throughout the cast.
exactly right, Mike.
So
Exactly right.
I apologize for the interruption, John, but I'm sure you can appreciate why I have to. Skyrath
Absolutely.
Skyrath Mage is the third pickup, John. How do you feel about this hero?
It's odd. It's an odd pickup for Keen Gaming, I have to say. I'm actually not too sure about the changes to it. I know what changes Venge went through. Nether Swap now has 2 charges, and, your aura does not create illusions of your allies anymore. And the Agnes effect of her having a secondary Vengeful Spirit on death is now just base. It's on the skill now off the bat. So I'm keen to seeing how this plays out. Again, the Venge rework is pretty interesting to see, especially with that Nether Swap having 2 charges. I think that could be potentially very strong. Can you imagine swapping, how many people in, like swapping one enemy hero in, and then swapping out with an initiator from your team to be at the center of everyone else? That sounds pretty strong, if you can chain it right.
Certainly so. Fortunately, they haven't really got any initiators yet on the side of Aster. Apart from, I mean, you could swap the Razor in, but that would probably be disastrous. I suppose we'll see what their final pickup will be, though they do grab a Weaver for themselves in the 4th pick slot. Lycan was the 4th pick for Keen Gaming. So, pretty standard stuff for the 4th picks, nothing too shocking coming out. In fact, I'm almost like, every time I see heroes like a Weaver now, I just kind of wince to myself a bit, because I just hate seeing that old meta come back. But I guess the Weaver is still pretty darn strong in its own right, as it stands right now.
Definitely is, Mike. It did get nerfed a bit. Geminate attack got higher cooldown, I believe, overall. The Skywrath Mage I was just checking out. The only change is that Concussive Shot now hits a creep when nothing else is nearby, so not much really changing for that hero either.
Yeah. Well, final ban out now for Keen Gaming. We did see Aster, they got rid of the silencer for themselves, which is absolutely fair enough, because that global silence would probably ruin a lot of the heroes on their side. There's a lot of value in that pick if Keen Gaming wanted to go grab that. Though Keen are really thinking about this final ban for themselves. And I suppose, I'm sure you'd agree as well, John, Team Aster, with the draft they've actually got, they could pretty much run anything anywhere if they really, really wanted to.
Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility coming out from Keen's draft. You could run the Brewmaster as a support, of course. You could run the Skyrat as a core in the mid lane, which we've seen done once in our casting career, I believe, but I believe that was also a random Skyrat mage. But you do have that option if you want to run it mid. More than likely, I feel like it's going to be Sky on support and either Brewmaster or Batrider on support, unless we're going to see a support last pick for Keen Gaming.
We'll find out. They've only got 8 seconds of reserve time, so they don't actually have much time to think about this anymore.
10 seconds remaining.
We'll just wait out and see what it's going to be.
5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Do go for the Leshrac. We've seen this hero coming in multiple times now in that mid lane. I suppose it is decently strong. John, the thing we have with this hero is every single time we see it, it either just snowballs to the living hells and just never, like, it's just completely uncontrollable, or if it dies a couple times, it becomes completely useless.
Definitely does, Mike. I feel like in combination with Sky, you can pump out a lot of damage. The issue is you don't really have great setup. Your best setup is probably Lasso, and that's not amazing. There definitely is a lack of hard lockdown from Keen Gaming for their combinations. Team Aster does have a bit more to put a person down, of course. You have Rubik's Lift, you have Vengeful Spirit Stun, and Aster closes out their draft with a Medusa. Not a pick I'd expect, but well, it's fairly I guess it's still fairly strong. Nothing on Keen Gaming's side really screams to me to be burning through that Medusa later on. I'm not sure if you're going to see it as effective as it was before, as again, she was already nerfed before, like several patches ago, and the meta has really shifted away from the late game. So we'll see if Medusa gets enough power in that mid game to carry through.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked they went for that pick, honestly, John. Like, they're up against a Leshrac and a Lycan, both of which they push very, very quick if they get a good start. It looks like they are going to be betting on just not having a good start. What the hell is Old 11 doing? Flying around the draft screen, apparently. Why is that the first time I've seen that?
I've never seen it either. It must be a rare animation that cycles in and out. I don't know.
Well, there you have it. Nevertheless, though, Aster, they are going to have to drag this out late. If they let King Gaming get way too big early on, then we could see another 17-minute game, for all I know. Because these Medusas, they do rely on just farming, and I don't know if I'm to be happy whether the Medusa's back or not. Like, I can't say that the Medusa makes for an interesting game. Every time you look at Medusa, she's generally just farming ancients or farming neutrals or just doing things like that, but who knows? Maybe Aster have something in store for us. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. We'll wait it out and see. But again, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this Lycan and the Leshrac, though. Like, if they just get a bad start, you just can't go late game against Aster. There's just no way.
Yeah, again, if it goes to late, Aster does look a bit better in that sense. They do have the Medusa, they do have the Weaver that scales really well. However, it remains to be seen if there is a late game to reach.
We'll get into the game. Old Chicken will be on that Lycan. Actually moving his way up into the off lane for the moment. Old 11 this time around will be on the Bat Rider. Probably going to be feeling a lot more comfortable on this hero over the Lion that we just saw. Man, I gotta say, that was not the greatest debut of the core line. Very upsetting indeed.
Definitely not. A lot of missed stuns coming out. Definitely not the maximization of that finger I wanted to see. We only saw, what, one buff to it?
Yeah.
Like one stack of that buff on it?
Yeah. Nice smoke coming out from Aster. They are going to loop around. Question is, do they go high ground or low ground? They do stay up the high. Oh, an Old Chicken. He's not going to be expecting this. Although he does go back. Did he actually catch XXS there? Looks like he may have just spotted out a pixel. Now the chase is on. Old Chicken. A lot of damage being sapped from him by the Razor. And now the lift comes in. Old 11. He didn't really want to start the game off like this. But unfortunately for his sake, that will be the case. Aster giving Baboka the first blood on the Rubik, and now they will go and get some runes for themselves. Meanwhile, no one's at the bot bounty runes. They're going to go for another team fight right now. Dark moving forward onto Fenrir. The magic missile does come out. Old Chicken, he does get the bounty rune as well. Looks like Fenrir may end up falling, and he does. So a 1-for-1 right now. Static Link is going to come out onto Kaka. XXS not moving that fast, though. I don't feel like they're going to be able to find this this kill. Baboka could not get in range for the lift, although Kaka actually turns around. What's he doing? The lift's going to be available, but Baboka, he did have to break a tree down, and Kaka is going to end up falling. What an absolute mess. Kaka, he got a bit greedy with that. And unfortunately, he does end up losing his life because of it.
I mean, this is a very fun game already, Mike. That sort of engagement from Aster, that beautiful smoke, the kills they got, but the counter kills that Keen managed to pull out as well. It's both teams are really up front today, Mike.
They certainly are. You just saw Old Chicken at the bot lane. Like, there was still 2 runes there. By about the 30-40 second mark, he just went up and grabbed them both himself. Just thank you very much. Like, yeah, you took 2 kills off us, we took 1 off you, and then we'll just take 2 bounty runes off you as well. Nevertheless.
Yeah, so a good start for both teams, right? Really, a slight lead for Aster, but despite that, that 1 kill that they got on top, they lost 2 of their runes, so it's.
Sala almost falling top lane. You do have the combination of that Brewmaster and the Bat Rider in one lane, so you've got to be wary of that. Still, though, no levels in the Cider Brew or the Cinder Brew quite yet. We'll see if he opts to level it up at level 2.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that synergy. Again, it's something we haven't seen yet, and I feel like I'm wondering if it's worthwhile to invest.
Sala, again, just copying a hell of a lot of damage. That's the thing, when you've got that Drunken Brawler available where you can just turn it on, Sala, he gets slowed down by those sticky napalms as well as that turn rate slow. And Dark, he just goes in, gets a few hits for himself, and then just walks back out. Makes it really hard for this Weaver. I mean, he's already down to 2 tangos. We're only 2 minutes into this game, and they're going again. He's going to have to use those 2 just to get back up to full HP. In fact, he will use a stick charge instead.
That's really the laning power of a Brewmaster now. With that toggle, you know, with that self-buff on Drunken Brawler, the crit rate is insane. 80% at level 1 is pretty wild, and you can see it in action again, just melting Sylar. It's a bit much to deal with.
Yeah, Sala, literally no regen left. He just ate a tango. He's going to have some more on the way soon, but he's got to wait for that courier to walk its way back up mid, so he's going to be waiting a while. Meanwhile, mid lane though, Lover is in a lot of trouble right now. Luckily for him, no mana left on the Leshrac to throw out a lightning strike. So he will be able to salve himself up. Though again, Medusa in the early game, very, very weak. I guess once she's got a few more levels in that Mystic Snake, she becomes really hard to lane against, but still, you've got to be very wary of the fact that you've got such a low HP pool and you are just very susceptible to any ganks that come in from the side.
Definitely have to watch out if you're EDJ, although I feel like the Keen Gaming supports are kind of tied up right now, just trying to win their side lanes, which, to be fair, for the most part, I think they're doing fairly well in that regard. Again, Dark is just harassing the hell out of Sylar, making it really hard for this Weaver to go in for the last hits.
Bot lane, we do see a trade of the supports coming out. Fenrir and Kaka both going down. The thing is, Kaka did manage to get Fenrir before he went down himself. Meanwhile, top lane, Baboka actually may turn around on Dark, and they will find a pick-off. So Sylar does pick that one up for himself, although those sticky napalm stacks, you've got to be careful with that. Old 11, though, hasn't leveled up Firefly yet. And so he won't actually continue to go for that fight. Meanwhile, it looks like Lover managed to snag a regen rune for himself, but it was immediately cancelled off anyway, so really no harm, no foul done. And so we're 2-4 now, 4.5 minutes into this game. So in terms of CS, we do see XXS on that Razor doing pretty darn well for himself. Like, yeah, sure, Old Chicken's keeping up, but XXS in this offlane doing a better job right now. I suppose that's kind of to be expected, though. With that static link, the Lycan just walks in, gets linked up, all his damage is just gone, and then XXS just going to feel free to just start right-clicking creeps.
That is the power of the Razor in the laning phase, of course, especially against a melee core. That static link just does so much against you. I mean, you can see it from Chicken now. He just has to back off. Minus 49 damage on him. Minus 41 after bonus damage. And he just really can't contest last hits.
Yeah, he's actually going to go into the jungle a bit, try to farm that up, instead of sitting in the lane. I mean, it's a slow process again, because he is missing that damage. He'll get it back now, but his wolves are dead as well. So he's going to have to do the job himself. This is not the start you want as a Lycan, though. Like, you're looking to get that quick Helm of Dom and start snowballing from there with the Necro 3 book. And well, if this keeps up, it's going to be pretty late timing for all those items.
Yeah, which is really not what you want. Again, we've seen what happens to Lycans when they don't get a good start. In fact, it's already kind of hard when they get a good start.
They're going after Fenrir. That Centaur is dominated, and they will find a very nice pickup with that. He literally just picked up the Helm of Dominator. Now XXS, though, wants to find the return, and he does get the return support trade. And he will just walk his way out. Although, nice Leshrac rotation, and that was a very, very quick death coming out. XXS was not expecting a hasted Leshrac to just run into him like that. And now we'll just TP straight back into that mid lane, because there's a creep wave hitting on his tier 1 tower. So, although
yeah, a lot of value coming out for Ying from that haste. Just nice rotation down bot, even though, you know, they lose out in their support, but hey, they get the kill anyway on XXS. Slowing down that Razor is probably one of your top priorities next to slowing down the Medusa, because again, he is a very snowbally hero as well. Although it doesn't take him too many items to get online, once he does have those cheap items, he's that much harder to deal with.
So they may go for a gank attempt onto Lover. Do you see Dark? He did rotate around, but he opts to just back out of it. Bot lane, though, they do find XXS with that wolf form, and now they want Fenrir as well. The Stomp is not available in the dominated creep, and Baboka is there. And with that, it looks like he'll just be happy with the Razor kill.
Again, a good kill for Keen Gaming. Slowing down that Razor, and Old Chicken's finally just really pulling ahead in this lane now. With that Dominator, he's just been doing so much work with his dominated creeps. The first ultimate, you know, not really threatening a tower, but does secure a very pivotal kill. And now he gets to farm the jungle in relative peace.
So that is exactly what he'll do. Lover, though. Like, this Medusa struggled at the early stages of the game. Now, top of the last hits board. The Leshrac isn't even there to try and contest the lane anymore. So Lover, all he's doing is he comes in, he pushes that wave out, and he'll just go straight back into the jungle and just start farming safely. And again, this is going to be a big concern for the side of Keen Gaming if they don't get on top of this, because it's a Medusa. It's going to start hitting very hard. That Stone Gate is going to be very, very annoying, though. Bot lane, Baboka. Get caught out. A nice rotation again coming out from the Leshrac. Still, though, Baboka probably not the highest priority kill to get.
Definitely not the highest priority. It is still something for yourself, so you should feel fairly happy about it, but, you know, while you do these rotations, again, Lover is just farming like a madman. I think the map changes really benefit this sort of rising mid as well, because instead of, you know, in the nearest camp to your lane being that ancient camp, it's the hard camp, which you can clear much faster. So early on, you can gain much more gold by rotating out after pushing your lane out, which is really nice for a hero like Medusa.
I just had a look at our Brewmaster, John Dark. He does end up going 2 levels in that Cinder Brew, so he's trying to take advantage of that. Mind you, look to the Batrider, 2 levels in the Firefly, 1 in the Flame Break, so the thing is, every time we see that Cinder Brew, there probably will be a time lapse that just comes out of Silo to make sure he doesn't actually cop any damage from all that. So they do have to keep in mind that there is a high possibility that they're just going to hit themselves with their own attacks. So we'll keep an eye out, see if that does end up happening anytime throughout this game. Sala going to move in onto Old 11. They are still trying to go onto Fenrir on that Vengeful Spirit. Old 11 is pretty dedicated for this. He's got a lot of Napalm stacks as well. They'll find a very nice, easy pick-off onto that Vengeful Spirit. Looks like there was some attempt to try and help from Sila, but he's really not able to. Not while a Leshrac is there waiting for him to try. Meanwhile, bot lane, XXS, going to be chased down by Old Chicken. Looks like he will manage to get out safely. Now the rotations come in, and Sila, again, trying to help out. I think he may be a bit too late to the party, though. Perhaps he'll try to just go for the dominated creep instead, but even then, it's probably a bit too tanky.
He's still hanging around, though. Just watching Old Chicken farm right now. Not sure about this positioning. He does have Baboka coming in as well, and they do have level 6 in the Rubik, so maybe they managed to do something here. No mana for time lapse. He does use the wand now, so entire kit is ready. They are going to pressure the tier 1 at least.
Yeah, that mid tower copping a lot of damage. Lover not really backing off at all. Why the hell would you need to? You've got that level 2 missed the mana shield. Cinderbrew will come out, but they lift Dark up. Now nice stun comes out. They will burst down Sylar. The tier 1 is already gone. Primal Split comes out. They are going to go onto Baboka, who stole the Mystic Flare, but it's not going to matter. He is just dead. And they will lose 2 for the sake of losing their own tier 1 tower in that mid lane.
I'd say a pretty it's a pretty odd trade for Aster. Sure, they clear out that mid-tier 1, which is pretty pivotal for control and really helps your Medusa just free farm in the jungle as well. But you drop your Rubik and your Weaver. Probably not the best trade, but at very least you secure an objective out of it. And again, your Medusa is pretty much free farming herself to the top right now. Currently 5.2k net worth from a 2k deficit a while ago, if I recall right above everyone else. So a good start for Lover, and it's just going to escalate from here if Keen Gaming do not do anything about this.
Yeah, it's kind of intriguing me, John. Like, they're not actually farming that much on Sylar. You saw him, he's making so many rotations around the map. His net worth is actually lower than the Batrider right now. But it looks like they are just happy to do that. And actually, Lover ends up falling. I didn't quite catch that one, John. Did you? Did they just run in and kill her?
They just smoked up. It was about time they really just smoked up and went in that jungle. They're dropping some wards now, so it's going to be much harder for Lover to farm up in this Medusa. And if they lose this tier 1, it's a bit less safe. At the very least, there's no tier 1 mid for Radiant as well, so Keen doesn't have a direct access point to that area in the jungle.
Oh, Fenrir getting jumped on. I'm not sure what the lag is here that we're seeing, but they do end up getting one. And it looks like they will find another, but, well, Dota is lagging quite a lot. John, is it lagging for you or is it just me?
Not for me this time, Mike, but whenever one of us is lagging, that means the next game I'm going to be the one lagging.
Alright, sure.
It's the connection to China.
Alright. Well, 3 heroes go down for the side of Aster. My apologies about the lag. Checking my internet right now, it looks perfectly fine. Still going strong. Not 100% sure why, but John's probably correct in saying that it's probably the server we're connected to right now. I may try to reconnect in just a moment, John, because it is still lagging. It looks like the audio is not keeping up.
Yeah, I've had that happen multiple times.
And your voice is robotic for some reason, so that's making me start to worry.
That's probably my end.
Alright. I'm just going to make sure there's no action before I do quickly disconnect and come back into the game. Alright, I'm gonna quickly DC, John. Sorry to the viewers, we just want to make sure it doesn't lag like this the whole game. We'll be right back 1 second. John, do you want to just talk about what's happening in the game so the viewers aren't completely unaware?
Keen Gaming is currently clearing out the dire top jungle. We do see Sylar trying to farm out that lane. He does pull back. They do have one ward watching that area, so they are aware that Keen Gaming is up top. And the rest of Aster is farming that bot lane. Fenrir and Boboka keeping Lover some company, making sure he can farm safely. They do smoke up now, though. So a 3-man smoke from Aster with that Medusa. Probably gonna try to get the jump on Keen Gaming while they are standing there up top under ward. I'm not sure if this is gonna be enough. Just 3 heroes so far. 2 heroes at the backlines. They are starting to team fight.
Yeah, I'm back into it now, John. It is still lagging, but Stonegaze is there. It looks like they have found the Brewmaster, and the Brewmaster does go down. Now Old Chicken just making a run for it. Karka appears to be doing the same. The Leshrac looks to be caught out. This lag is ridiculous. So 3 for 1 it seems. Aster do win out that team fight. And apparently the reconnection did not help whatsoever, which is fantastic.
Yeah, again, a worthwhile trade for Aster and a bit reckless from Keen, assuming that Aster doesn't have a ward in their jungle. They probably do. I mean, they have a Medusa. They're going to want to protect that jungle area. Of course, they're going to have a couple of wards there to watch the rotations, make sure Medusa isn't jumped while farming a side lane. So, again, Keen Gaming, probably not the best decision I've seen them make. And Lover continues to pull away in this network lead. 8.4k now to Lycan 7.2k. And again, you do not want to see this kind of start for enemy Medusa. It's going to get bigger and bigger. He's going to get the farm he needs. And then, while your lineup has a Leshrac and the Lycan, you want to end this game a bit early. I mean, it's still early on, 16 minutes in. 2 tier 1s taken for Keen Gaming. They're still fairly happy, but they have to push the aggression in the next 10 minutes or so, Mike.
John, is there anything you can do about the fact that your voice is coming through robotic? I mean, I'm not sure if it's me or you. I don't think it's me, because my net is pretty stable. Like, right now.
It's probably my end. I'm not sure. I'll try to reconnect real quick.
Alright. Well, Keen Gaming. Gonna smoke up. Again, I apologize about the lag. It is a server thing rather than an internet thing. I can't really fix it. But we'll go with it. XXS. Not going to be caught out here, it seems. King Gaming do move through to that mid lane. And it looks like they will just back off on the side of Aster as well. So both teams just farming up right now, although the Radiant Courier ends up going down apparently. That was thanks to the Weaver, who will get caught out and be punished for this. And he will end up falling, which we'll find out about 5 seconds. There we go. Sylar ends up going down. And Karka now on a dominating spree.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So that is only a support Skyrath mage that we're seeing. He's doing a fantastic job. Actually going for the double crown as well as the double null talisman. Now he does end up finding the Medusa. But there is no follow-up for that. Meanwhile, in the back lines, MLPDota has been caught out by Old Chicken. He will end up falling very, very quickly on. Does actually steal the howl before he dies, but it doesn't matter whatsoever. He's lost it now. And it looks like they will make their way down to the bot lane where XXS is waiting. Can they get a lasso off on him? They do actually have it available and they will commit it. Or they won't quite yet. The static link is there. They don't want to waste the lasso if they can get away with it. XXS though will manage to get out of there for now. The Wolves are still chasing and they will eventually get him though. Now Lover, he'll get started on Dark. Primal Split does make it just in time. And Lover, well, he is in the Cyclone for the moment. They do go after the Weaver. Sylar is still perfectly fine. So is Lover. Everyone is quite healthy on the side of Aster. But can they find any pickoffs on the side of King Gaming? It looks like they will get started on the Batrider, though. MLPDota now falling very low, and that Leshrac doing a lot of damage. Fenrir also ends up going down. Lover the only one left, but they do not want to engage on this Medusa. They are starting to fall very low on the Leshrac, and he has no mana left to actually go for a team fight. So they'll let the Medusa go. A nice team fight coming out from Keen Gaming. Still though, you've got to be very concerned. Like, Lover's not that farmed yet, and they're already afraid to initiate on this hero. What's going to happen in 10 minutes time when he actually has the Eye of Skadi up, and he gets to level 20 and has the plus mana talent? Like, that plus 700 mana does so much work for this hero.
It definitely does, Mike, and I am back. Is it still robotic?
Yes.
Well,
it's fine. I'll check my side after this game. You never know. It could be me. I mean, my in-game is lagging, but I usually put that down to server issues, because it usually is. Who knows? I'll restart after this. XXS apparently has a permanent plasma field around him. He will get lassoed up. Though, where's the follow-up? Dark is there, and it looks like XXS should end up falling, though Sylar is coming in. And the Brewmaster. Well, they both end up going down. Nice rotations coming out from Aster. It looks like Aster are ready to push down that top lane. Though bot lane, they are also pushing down on the side of Keen Gaming, so they will have to give up their tier 2 if they do want that tier 1 tower. Aster look ready to just be happy with that trade though. And we do have a pause coming out. And the go call is quite quick. Lover. We'll rotate down to that bot lane. John, you're back.
Is it fixed now? I'm
no. It's
trying to sort it.
Not really, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll sort it out after this game. Lover gonna get ganked on, though he will Hurricane Pike his way out. Now rotations coming in. Mystic Flare was there. Lover, he's copping a fair bit of damage, but can they burst him down? No, they cannot. The Stone Gaze comes out. He barely walks out of there alive. 200 HP left. Looks like they will just go to the shrine and try and up throughout all this.
That Mystic Snake talent really did a lot for Lover there. He was at near 0 mana, just enough to cast that Mystic Snake out. And once it came back, he recovered basically what looked to be 2/5 of his mana, right below, you know, maybe around about half. So all that mana just came back with one use of Mystic Snake. Really bought him enough time to get out of there, Mike.
It certainly did. It's like Keen Gaming again. They are on a bit of a timer. They do need to try and push towers a lot quicker than probably what they are right now. Though the timing on Old Chicken is nice. He's already got that Necro 3. He's going for the Assault Cuirass next. The problem seems to be this Medusa. Like, they've tried to initiate on her a few times now. She just seems to be able to sustain and survive throughout these team fights. She has an Eye of Skadi up now, and she will be level 20 in one level. With that, I mean, if it was already hard enough to take her down, it's going to become that much harder. Old Chicken, though, gets started on the Roshan. There is going to be a fight. They do lift him up. The wolf form was there in time, but it looks like he's copying way too much damage, and he is gone. Skyrath also gone, and well, that's 2 down for the side of Keen Gaming. Stonegaze was committed as well, and Lover will just get started on that Roshan. Sylar even finding Old 11 in the back lines as well, and this is when things seemingly start to get pretty bad if you're a Keen Gaming fan.
Definitely is pretty bad. Looks like they're going to lose Dark as well, and the only one that doesn't die is Ying's Leshrac, because of course he was pushing out that top lane, and he does shove it in quite well, but I don't think Aster cares at all. They take the Roach for free. The one saving grace for Keen was that their Lycan died to Roshan, so at the very least, you know, he got killed off by Roach instead of by Aster, so they don't get too much gold. However, everything else, they lose the Roshan, which they need. They need that Aegis on probably their Lycan, yeah? Because they can't finish off the Medusa anymore. And they couldn't quite secure that Aegis anymore, Mike. Now you have a Medusa who's level 20 with that plus 700 mana talent. If you couldn't kill her before, you really can't kill her now.
That's certainly the case, John. She's just way too tanky. I don't feel like they have the tools to do the job. That's the thing. Like, unless all the stars align. Like, if Lover makes a mistake and is out of position and they get the lasso and the Leshrac can just pump out the Pulse Nova and the Diabolic Edict and the Lycan can just hit up on her with all his units, perhaps. But even then, it feels like she's just going to turn around and Stone Gaze and they're going to have to back off. They are going to go for a loop around with the smoke. This could be the change they need. But still, like, you've got to burst everyone else around Lover down first. Lover, well, they're just waiting in the tree line right now. The units will go down very early on. Now they do stun up the Medusa, but I'm not sure that's the target they want. XXS, they will go on, and the Mystic Flare is there, and he goes down. Now the Venge is also down, and they are making the chase. The lasso comes out. They have found another Imberboka, so 3 down for the side of Aster so far, and so far so good for Keen Gaming, though they do not end up finding the Weaver. Sylar, he does back off. Lover is still right-clicking, but he is out of mana, John. He's got an Aegis available, but he's going to have to toggle on that mana shield very, very quickly, and the problem is he is surrounded. This could be the big kill they need, and they silence him up, they stun him up as well, and there's just no way for him to attack right now, and this is exactly what the Radiant side needed. Keen Gaming, they make a miracle happen. And with that, let's see how much work they can get done around the map. And John, speaking of miracles, it appears the server lag has stopped.
That's good to hear, Mike. That is definitely a miracle in and of itself, and that was a very good team fight coming out from Keen Gaming. Of course, they did need that kill on Lover. I mean, they managed to do what was pretty hard to say to do. I mean, killing Medusa twice is a very big thing.
Old 11 though may fall. Can they find the trade? No, they cannot, and a pause comes up mid-fight. That is a very unfortunate timing, but perhaps they're experiencing some lag, and the go-ahead is very quick. Now, Sylar does claim he experienced a bit of lag there. which is believable, honestly, from our point of view, because that's what I was just experiencing. But well, KG do give the go-ahead. They have already lost the Batrider. Can they find more in the Leshrac? It's a lot of damage being pumped out by this Lesh. He will get one in XXS. Now he might find a second in Fenrir. He does take him down. BKB up and the Yules as well, though BKB does wear off. Now Dark comes in. They found the Lesh kill, but Baboka, he has to back off now. It looks like he is going to be in trouble from Dark, although he's just making a run for it, and Sylar is on a double. Meanwhile, the Wolf makes his way in. Baboka is the only target he wants. Courier is going to scout him out. Baboka will end up falling, and the only man left on the side of Aster, apart from that Courier, is actually Sylar, who does farm up a dominated creep for himself, and that'll be the end of that one. But again, a very nice team fight from King Gaming.
They're really pushing these fights while they're strong, which is really the smart play for Keen. Sure, the Medusa's big already, but there's still a window of opportunity here where your Lycan is still strong, your Brewmaster can still do a lot in team fights, and your Batrider can still disable someone straight off the bat. So I feel like this is the smart play for King Gaming. This is the time for them to really get aggressive, as their power peak will start to taper away as time goes on, especially if that Weaver manages to play catch-up.
Well, 28-18 now. You look and get to Lover. He's trying to get that BKB up, and it's just so important up against this Leshrac, because as he just found out in a very, very rude way, he's not invincible quite yet. So that BKB may make a lot of the difference. But John, even in that last team fight, like, it seemed like they did the right thing by just ignoring the Medusa, going for the heroes around him first, and then just focusing the Medusa while she's all by herself. They could potentially just do that all over again, assuming she BKBs up as soon as the team fight starts.
Yeah, that's a very good point to make. Again, if you ignore the Medusa, she probably doesn't do too much at this point. She's just really tanky.
XXS, going to be the target. Nice swap comes in from Fenrir, but Old Chicken, he has got his eyes on the target, and he does find him. Now Fenrir as well does end up falling. Again, Lover throws out the Stone Gaze, but they'll just back off. There's the Cyclone coming out from the Brewmaster. Do they reinitiate now? Of course they do. They silence him up. Where's the damage though? Dark comes in. Now the Flame Break as well, but there's no Lycan here, and Karka finds himself in the middle of 3 heroes. He does Glimmer Cape though, and will walk away. And right now, the 2 main damage-dealing cores are nowhere to be seen. Old Chicken and the Leshrac, they do back off a bit prematurely, I feel. On the side of KG. Start roaming around in the opposing jungle. It's like Lover again, just focusing on getting that BKB. He has got the recipe now. He just has to bring it out on the Courier. We'll see how much of a difference this makes. Though King Gaming have been playing around this Medusa very well so far. Assault Cuirass as well came out onto Old Chicken, and he will be going for a basher of his own this time around. The smoke will be there from Aster. Although, King Gaming, they will break it, and they have the high ground. Baboka, though, still runs in. The lift is there, but the wolf form already came out. Can they burst the Lycan down fast enough? Old Chicken makes a run for it, though nice swap comes in, and they do take him out. Stone Gaze was committed, but who the hell cares? They got that Lycan, and that's probably the most important thing.
Definitely is. And, you know, on top of that, Baboka got the shapeshift for himself as well. And it's a ranged wolf. It is a ranged wolf. He just took out the ward from a distance, so that's going to be interesting to see once it's off cooldown. He could just pop it. He'd have max move speed as Rubik, and he can steal more spell smite.
Certainly seems like a nice little trade. So I really can't believe King Gaming though. Like, they had the high ground there. I guess they just weren't ready to go for a team fight, and they just didn't bother with it. Perhaps they thought that the Lycan would manage to get out, but it just wasn't the case. And again, the longer this game goes on, the more farm Lover can get. And he's just going to continue farming up until that butterfly. That evasion and those added stats are really going to help out this Medusa, especially with that survivability. King Gaming, they are smoked up. They're looking for another target for themselves, but nobody is around them. Scanning for the Roshan. King Gaming may see someone in mid. Lover is pushing his way in. Though they are aware that King Gaming now were smoked up. And so they continue moving forward. That Stone Gaze already available again. It's a short cooldown. They'll get started on the tier 2 tower. They take it very, very quickly as well. And they're going to go straight for the tier 3s now. Why the hell not? King Gaming, we'll see how the defense goes for them. Aster, they will choose to back off, it seems. Lover sticks around a bit longer, and yeah, he just wanted the wave before he left. Looks like that was just a bit of chip damage on the tier 3 tower. In fact, they got quite a bit. They'll just back off to safety now.
Yeah, smart play from them, although I feel like they could push the aggression if they want to. Aster is feeling pretty strong, but, you know, it's not on them to really end this game now. It's definitely much more on Keen. The pressure is on them to try to find more objectives on the map, to try to get, you know, to that high ground within 5 minutes, because you're running a Lycan and a Lesh going into the late game against a Medusa and a Weaver. It's not going to be an easy time for you.
Wolf form will come out. It looks like Aster. That was the Rubik Wolf form, of course. They are going to run in. Baboka gets started with the lift onto the Skywrath Mage. The Glimmer Cape is there, but they will drop a sentry for it. Kaka immediately lost. Now Baboka hunting for more as this Wolf. He will not find Old 11. The TP in the tree line is successful. So very nice little easy pick off for Aster.
Yeah, and that kill gives them the gem as well. So now they have their own gem of sight, gem of true sight coming from. And that just lets them take a bit more control on the map for free.
They're going to go for a Roshan play now. So the bot lane is being pushed in by the Leshrac though. It looks like they will allow this. You can't really underestimate how much this Leshrac can do. And the Aegis was stolen by Old 11? How the hell did he steal that?
I think it was the Brewmaster ult in, they scouted it out. Old 11 just jumped in. They must have gotten a boulder throw at some point as well. And, you know, just take it. Sure, it's gonna it looks like he's gonna waste it, but not even.
Well, they will get it. Meanwhile, the Leshrac does actually end up finding XXS. They're still pushing that bot lane, John. They've got a full racks out of this. Meanwhile, the Roche teamfight's still going on. Fenrir will end up falling. That's the Stone Gaze coming out, but nobody's around to care about that. Meanwhile, they're going for the tier 4s now. What the bloody hell's going on here? The Leshrac getting lifted up. Going to be put down as well. He will be KBTP and he will get swapped. He's going to make a run for the fountain. Can he actually juke them out in their own base? He's pretty darn fast. He has a Yules available. He's going to cop a bit of damage. And no, the Fade Bolt will be there. Still though, what the hell was that? Keen Gaming not even going around for another tier 3. In fact, they couldn't anyway. There was two tier 2s available on the map. They go, alright, the next best thing is just go for a tier 4 tower. And they do successfully grab one at the cost of losing the Leshrac.
I think that's a worthwhile trade. Again, if you're Keen Gaming, you want to push your, you want to get as much done right now before the Medusa and the Weaver really get unstoppable. You had a good distraction down in the Roche pit. You held them back from really going back and defending their tier 3s at bot. Take a free set of racks. Take out that tier 4. And now it's a bit scarier for Aster to leave these guys alone in the push. They have to watch out for where Old Chicken is in the team fight and the Leshrac. If they're not around the team fight, they're going to be split pushing somewhere else.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
King Gaming gonna start having to defend this high ground now. Look at the damage coming out from Lover. He does have a double damage rune. He just takes out the tier 3 by himself. Mind you, he does have a butterfly up now as well. And it looks like that melee racks will be given to the way of Aster pretty much for free. They really didn't want to buy back there. Look at this rack coming out from Old Chicken. Sylar is there, but it looks like Old Chicken is going to go for this. And that is some pretty quick towers going down. Sylar literally does no damage to this Lycan John. He's taking the racks now by himself. Nobody else is TPing in. Old Chicken now will back off. Lover, meanwhile, they still haven't initiated in that team fight. They're just stacking up those sticky napalms. So they found the Bat Rider. They will take him down. And now the swap out onto the Leshrac. He does have a buyback available. He will use himself up. BKB was already used. Now the Stone Gaze. He'll have to buy back, and he does do so. They do lose the Venge on the side of Aster. And it looks like they want to back off now, but they are very, very slow. Old 11 gets the lasso, but the Lotus Orb was there in time, and now they're going to turn this one around. They found the Leshrac again. This is going to be a dieback on him if he dies here, and he does go down. Aster, they may be able to finish the game off this. He's gone for 2 minutes.
Yeah. 2 sets of buybacks and immediately 2 sets of diebacks for Keen Gaming. They did not manage to take a racks up top as well, and it's now Aster's turn to push these tier 4.
Tier 4 is going down very quick. Lover doesn't have Stone Gaze, but doesn't seem afraid of anything right now. Again, he is still very tanky. It's all up to Old Chicken, and he runs in, though lifted straight away, copying a lot of damage. He needs to get the hell out of there, but he keeps moving forward for this. Now he will back off. Kaka may get caught out. They are draining the mana from this Medusa. Tier 4 tower does end up falling. Old Chicken about to run out of that wolf form. I don't know what he can do without it, to be honest with you. Lover just BKB's up. Yeah, they call GG. He realizes there's nothing he can do. Without that Leshrac, without that wolf form, there's just no option left. They just call it at 38 minutes.
That was an impressive play from Keen Gaming, of course, in that split push down bot, but an even better play from Aster when in this, in this mid push. They only send back the Weaver to counter push the top lane. And because of that, Lycan wasn't in position to help with the defense. They buy back on the Leshrac and the Bat Rider, and it doesn't pay off. And they just can't defend. The Medusa was way too big at this point in the game. Their Lycan can't face off against a Razor who just static links all his damage away. And I feel like Keen Gaming definitely just missed their timing. They played really well. Aster just, this day after their earlier series, they've picked up the pace and played better, Mike.
Yeah. I will extend my apologies again to the viewers for the lag we experienced and stuff like that. I'm going to go check on it right now. I'm going to make sure it's not from my end, so it doesn't happen again. I'm pretty sure it's a server issue. We'll check all that out, but you do have my apologies. If I have control over it, I'll fix it right now. Otherwise, guys, there is the next series of the day coming up. It will be between eHome and KG Luminous. So we'll see how the sister team of KG can do up against the powerhouse of eHome. And of course, our final series of the day, John, that'll be a very competitive one. PSG LGD versus New B. So 2 Tier 1 teams up against each other in the DPL group stage. But that is the final series of the night. For now, eHome versus KG Luminous. Please do stick around with us. Again, I'll go check on the issues we were experiencing. We'll be right back with you guys in just a moment.